Hey guys, welcome back to Ava and I's channel. Today we're be talking about Survivor 48, the finale.
The finale,
It's all
guys!
over.
It's over. This is it.
Finale!
I'm so excited to talk about it. I'm excited of the outcome as well. Spoiler alert, but let's just get into it because there's a lot to unpack. It was freaking so long, and then the after show, even
after show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had me up late, so let's get into it. The first thing that I want to point out from the very, very beginning is how Camila was so surprised at how good she was at lying. And she was like, yeah, I just can't believe that even worked, if I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, dude, this girl.
Right.
She's smart.
Dude, that was so good. Yeah, and I feel like the whole, or not like the whole episode, I guess, but a lot of the episode just made me love Camilla so much more. Like, there was so much attention on her. And I don't know, it felt like a redemption arc in a sense, even though we know how her story went, but she was really motivating, I feel like, the whole episode.
Yeah, I feel like she finally got her time to shine. I loved her line where she said, I do think I deserve an Emmy for that. I'm like, fair, Camila. You do.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy how
Fair,
good Kyle and Camila were at lying and pulling that off. Oh.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Okay, so here's my thoughts that were going through my head when that episode first started. It's Camila's little sway for Final Tribal would be all of the lies she told and how she maneuvered her way through. But obviously, if she was sitting next to Kyle, they told pretty much the same exact lies. So they knew from the beginning, and they pointed this out throughout the whole episode, we can't sit next to each other, and they were honest to each other about it. I feel like it was brought up multiple times, and then a little bit over halfway, Camila was like, I'm gonna be real with you. You know, we can't sit next to each other, and Kyle felt the same. So, yeah. Fair play with them. I love how they stuck together the whole time. It's hard to, not reference stuff from, the end of the episode when we're talking about the beginning.
I know. We see Camilla on, the Camilla train. We see her win immunity again, make a huge comeback with the puzzle, which was such a good, I just love that. I don't know, they just had me so pumped.
Wait. You skipped over something that I didn't.
Wait, what did I skip?
So in the beginning of the episode, they go to look for tree mail, and what do they find?
Oh.
Yeah, so there was an
advantage?
Yeah, there's a place to earn an advantage.
Oh, the little...
And...
a cipher?
Yep.
Wait, is it?
Yeah. Is it a cipher? I don't know. But
something like that.
Either way, yeah, it's another puzzle-based thing. They're all scrambling. Who gets it? Who gets it?
Eva.
No way Eva gets it.
Because who gets everything?
No way.
Oh my gosh. She gets all of the advantages every single time.
That's why I'm just so glad the episode played out how it did, just because, I was so mad. I was so mad.
No, yeah, we were live texting, and we were both like, bro.
Yeah.
There's no way! Another advantage?
Yeah.
For Eva.
Yeah. I really hit the... oh, that pissed me off so bad. But yeah, anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Back to the challenge. What were you saying? Sorry.
Just Camilla's comeback. We saw her struggling in the mud at the more physical part of the challenge, and then just smokes everyone. Smokes everybody when they get to the puzzle. And I don't know. I was so pumped up for her because we saw Joe get there so early, and he had one piece.
Yeah.
He had one piece. And then Camilla comes and just boom, throws it together. So good.
Yeah.
She takes Eva with her to the feast.
Yeah, that whole challenge was crazy because, you see Joe in first for a while, and then Mitch was in second. Shout out to Mitch. He was doing great. And the whole first part is physical, and Mitch was doing great. And then when Camila got stuck in that freaking twisty net, which I know I would struggle to go through that. So, Camila, I get it. But Jeff goes, dead last once again, but still fighting as always. Talking about Camila.
I know. I was like, bro.
That was so funny.
What a strength.
It was so funny. That was one of the lines where I'm like, oh my gosh, it's old Jeff. Old Jeff is coming out. Because he's doesn't say that stuff anymore. But yeah, that was awesome. Seeing the fire puzzle in one of the final challenges was awesome too. And then, dude, Camila, what brought Camila to the front was when she tossed the ball, first shot, she made it in. I was like, okay,
Impressive.
Like it was really
Yeah.
impressive. She locked in for sure. And then they had like the power edit on
Mhm.
Camila. Like when she just got so far ahead in the puzzle, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this
Yeah.
girl is killing it!" And then she won. I was so
I know.
excited.
Oh, so good.
But
Dang.
so
I don't have anything else to say. I'm just happy
no,
for her.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, she takes Eva again on reward.
Eva, okay, sorry. She goes on everyone. I mean, okay, like good, like I thought that was nice of her to take Eva and they like had their like wholesome moment. They're both safe that night. But Eva is eaten like every reward.
Yeah, I just hit like, and
Like every
I
time.
don't think Camila like really explained why she took Eva, did she? Or did I don't remember.
She said something about Eva being hungry, and I think something about like how they're both safe. Or maybe that was later she mentioned that where it's like they both know they're making it to
True. Cause yeah, I
the
remember
next
texting you and I was
challenge.
like, I don't get why she took her, but then again, I guess like they're the only girls left and they know like she
Right.
knows Eva's safe, so might as well take her. So yeah, I mean that was probably the reasoning.
Right.
Um
And if you're Eva, I guess you still don't want to take Kyle and reveal anything, and you don't want to take Joe and fuel him.
True, yeah.
So
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, dude, we see Joe finally he's not immune, guys. Joe's not immune. But
it's
where
not
do we turn
immune.
here? What happens?
So I just have to say I was shook when the conversation between Kyle and Joe happens. When they're back at the island, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take Joe with me to the end if." Or like I or no not that he's like I want to keep Joe like I'm not voting him out.
Yeah.
As a viewer, I was like, no.
Mhm.
I was like, Kyle, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Like, do not keep Joe. Which, I mean, obviously, I don't want to reference in, but I thought he was making a huge mistake.
Mhm.
Like, why would you not get out Joe while he's vulnerable? Because you don't have the guarantee of him not wearing the necklace at the next challenge.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I was stressing for Kyle in that moment. And dude, right after that, Camila, like they come back from reward. Camila talks to Kyle and she was like, I'm not worried about Joe and Eva. Like, I'm not concerned if we're in like finals with them, whatever. I was like, really? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. But
I know. So I was saying, I was like,
I guess they like obviously they're in the game. They know so much more about like the jury and like who would be on their
right.
side. But I would still be concerned. But I guess
Hmm.
Camila at this point, Camila and Kyle knew like their storyline and like their secret duo was a lot more powerful than the broad duo of Eva and Joe. And I think that's what really gave them the
Right.
confidence to do that. And once again, we see them talking like, all right, well, me and you can't be sitting next to each other. So who would us individually want to be sitting next to each other in the final three? You know? So
Yeah.
that was their
Exactly.
logic there, probably. And then we see, you know, they were honest with Mitch. That's really nice of them, honestly. I mean, Mitch saw it coming. It just kind of sucked that like
Yeah.
he was really upset. He was extremely grateful for like how far he made it, but I just wish he tried to push a little bit more. Like maybe he did. Maybe he tried
Yeah.
to like talk to people, but like, hey, maybe you should not bring Joe. But I didn't see any
Right.
pushback from him. Maybe he just also knew that like
Hmm.
these duos aren't gonna flip on each other. I don't even know why. I'm gonna try. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was really sad to see him upset. That is a hard loss being that close. And he's extremely likable.
Right.
Like imagine you're getting voted out
Yeah.
because you're extremely likable. Like, oh, that just sucks.
Yeah, which that's the thing. I was like, I wish we'd seen more of Mitch's like social game in it because we don't see him a ton this season. But like, I don't know, that like it's just crazy, yeah, being voted out because you're so likable. So I wish we got to see a lot more of that and the bonds he had with everybody. But yeah, I'm glad everybody was honest with him. But it was really sad just knowing like that's just such a bummer.
Mhm.
Like if you make it that far and there's nothing you can do and everyone's just like, yeah, it's you tonight."
Yeah.
Like that's just tough.
Yeah.
But he handled it so well, and I hope he did take it as like a compliment. Like getting out 5th place is like I feel like just a crazy thing where it's like people don't want to take you to the final 4.
Yeah.
Like they don't want you having that shot at all.
Yeah. So there's always like a
But
positive way to kind of look at it for him. Like, he could say like I was the bigger threat than Joe and Eva or like than
right.
Kyle and Camila,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah.
good for him. I'm also glad that they made that tribal council like very short and sweet. Jeff was like, "All right, well,
Mhm.
y'all ready?"
Like, do you have anything else to say? Like, yeah.
Yeah. So we see Mitch go. Bye, Mitch. Sorry. But now we're down to the final 4 with the 2 dynamic duos. Like, could you ask for a better ending? I don't really know. It's actually crazy. It's funny. I want to reference back to when we had Patrick on the pod, and he was like, "I feel like this season is the season for dynamic duos." And look at the final. It's 2 dynamic duos. So
Yeah.
super awesome. Honestly, like once it got to that, I knew it was going to be a pretty good, pretty fair fight within, the final immunity challenge and everything else that goes down. And this is the moment where we hear Eva is still taking Joe no matter what to the final 3, even if it's worse for her game. And Joe says the same about Eva. But then we hear Kyle and Camila's conversation, how they're like, we're not taking each other. So either way,
Yeah, we're not.
Either way, we knew that Joe and Eva were going to be in final 3. Well, technically
Yes.
not because of fire, but like in that moment, in that point in time, we knew. All right, so yeah, we go to the final immunity challenge, and what is it? The classic.
It's the ball one.
Classic ball catching game.
What's that called?
There's a name for it.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
Ball catching works.
Yeah, ball catching on the ball trap. I don't know.
Yeah, ball trap.
Y'all know what we're talking about. If you watch Survivor, you know.
Yeah, ball grabs.
Shoot.
Oh
yeah.
Dude,
so
the whole time I was like,
ball grabbing challenge. Okay, you
go. Yeah. So we. Okay. Wait. So then we see them heading to the challenge, and dude, I cannot imagine doing that challenge. Like, I just personally know I would suck at that. Like, my concentration would just be so bad. My left and rights, bad at them. Oh my gosh. So when I was watching it, I just like couldn't help but think about myself in that challenge. And so when Eva dropped it, I felt like I could feel like her frustration. Just, like that's the immunity of all of them to win. And you're the first one out. Like, that's gotta be such a hard feeling.
Yeah.
So I felt bad for her in that moment because she obviously took it pretty hard.
Yeah, she was crying, which fair. I would have been crying too. Especially like
I would.
There's so many emotions attached to that. The final challenge, like your Survivor journey is basically over. That's sad. And honestly, I thought Camila may have been able to pull that one out, but she didn't. She was the next one to drop the balls, and then it was Kyle versus Joe. Woo! That's crazy. But
oh man,
guess who pulled it out? I got Kyle. Let's go, Kyle.
Yeah.
Well, that was huge.
Oh my gosh,
huge for him. Oh my gosh! As soon as he won that, I was like, this man's gonna win the game.
Yeah.
Like, this man's gonna win.
No, I know. That's exactly what I thought. After, when they got out Mitch, I was still like, I don't know, Joe seems like this force that nobody can beat. Then it almost felt like Kyle just handed him $1 million in my brain. But then when seeing Kyle win that, I was like, oh, Kyle's gonna win. Like, there's no way, like, Kyle's gonna win.
And it's just like, I just couldn't imagine that feeling of like having that much power of choosing like who's gonna sit next to you and who's gonna be in fire. And Kyle being the smart man. Well, okay, first of all, I loved how Kyle's like post-challenge speech, he was just very grateful for how far he's even gotten. He couldn't even imagine being in this position when he entered the game. So it was just really cute how grateful and humble he was. And he like showed appreciation for the people that he was still there with. I mean, this has been a huge season for like challenge threats specifically.
Oh,
like, everyone was really good at, well, not everyone. Sorry, Seti. Sorry, Cedric. But everyone was pretty good at challenges, especially when it got towards the end. You're going up against the strongest people. It's scary. And Kyle describes himself as, I'm pretty an average guy. I'm kind of good at this, kind of good at that. Kind of good looking. I loved that line. I think that was in the final tribal. Yeah, that was so funny. But yeah, so Kyle immediately says to Joe, I told you I'm going to take you, and so I'm taking you. That means Eva and Camila are going in fire. And Kyle's really smart for not letting Joe compete in fire, because let's be real, if he did,
my gosh,
that may have given Joe leverage. So
right, I agree.
Very smart. And then we see Eva and Camila practicing fire. We see Eva get very, very frustrated. And of course, Joe is there to calm her down, which, dude, shout out to Joe because, and I'm sure Eva knows this too, but she would not have made it that far if Joe wasn't there. Joe was not only her
Right.
number one ally, but also her emotional support. Like, he was the only one that was able to ever calm her down whenever she
Yeah.
just, like, basically couldn't calm herself down. So,
Yeah.
shout out to Joe, dude. And I really don't think she would have been able to do fire if it wasn't for Joe, like, helping her and teaching her, like, telling her to just, like, slow down.
Yeah, I agree.
And seeing Camila all alone, practicing on her own, I'm like, dang, this girl, she got herself. That's all she got. And she's this whole game, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's... Oh.
Yeah, she's a tough cookie. Like, I was thinking about that, and I was like, I feel like if that was me, it's kind of like a compliment that they don't want to help you and they don't want to make sure you're doing fire well. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to help you out in that sense. But then it's also just like, dang, this is really just on me. Like, I just have to figure this out. But going back to Eva working on fire, I thought it was like so powerful that Joe is willing to just step in and do it for her too. How he offered that. And then also Kyle, he was like, and it was it was like kind of him to say that about like wanting to help Eva, but also such a compliment to Camilla where he was like, I think I have to take care of Camilla like myself. Like, I have to make sure this is whatever. So I thought it was cool that they were both like contemplating doing it for Eva and stepping up to the plate.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a crazy line from Kyle when he was like, if I had to throw myself in, I will. Like, Kyle.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that, Kyle. Please don't do that. That made me a little nervous. But it's so nice to see how much of a connection they've all built with each other, especially in Final Four. Like, they were all friends. They all support each other. And then we really saw that when we go into fire making and we see Camila literally cheering on Eva when Eva was starting to have a breakdown during fire. During the biggest moment of your Survivor career, Camila. She's supporting her opponent.
Yeah.
So you see those connections are real. And going through that and making it that far together, it's kind of like an unbreakable bond. And shout out Camila for being such a nice girl, to be honest. Because I would have been getting frustrated too. And honestly, seeing Eva getting stressed out like that, I would have stressed out even more. And Camila didn't even have a flame. Literally not a
I know,
flame.
that was shocking.
Yeah.
That was so shocking.
And I feel so bad for her just because it's like, imagine rewatching that, right? After a long time of having it actually happen. And you're just like, I should have practiced more. I should have practiced more going into this game.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have anything to say more about like the fire making?
No, I don't think about fire.
So where do we go after that?
So now we have our final three. We have Eva, Joe, and Kyle. And I mean, I guess we don't really get a moment until they come back for they have their little moment on the island where Eva reveals her secret and Kyle reveals his.
Yeah. And Joe's just like, well, shoot, here I am.
He said, I'm just a fire captain.
Yeah, that was crazy though. Joe was literally like, we got a lawyer, we have a PhD student.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Joe? You've been lied to.
Yeah. Dude, that's tough.
I wonder if Joe knew, like, he was cooked at that point.
Yeah, like, really. Right.
Like, I really want to know if he thought, like, he would win.
I know, I want to know too. And, I mean, I feel like this is more, like, when the jury's talking, but did you notice, like, a switch in him? And I think it could have been at that point. He, like, lost something.
Wait, when?
Some of his, like I don't know.
Tribal?
I think it might have started when that happened, but it just seemed like he was, like, dazed. And not to, like, get ahead of myself, but it just felt like he kind of laid down and died for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he lost, like, confidence that he could win.
Probably. I mean, and when you think about it, Kyle I would say Kyle this whole game has been better at, like, talking, being social. Obviously, he's a lawyer, but even not knowing that, he thinks through things thoroughly. He's very good at speaking. And then, honestly, maybe it was that Joe would rather have Eva win. Maybe he'd rather give Eva that opportunity by stepping back and giving Eva the push forward to try to beat Kyle.
Right.
I don't know, but also wait, real quick, one more thing about Camila with her like exit interview and like the last final things that she was saying. I literally started crying like when Jeff asked her a question. It was probably like, "How are you feeling?" And then she started crying. I was like, "No, that's so sad," because she knows she was that close, and if she won that, she would have won the game easily. And then the jury said that probably even before Fire, like they would have voted Camila if she was in Final Three. So that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt. But it was so
I know
through the whole episode they kind of highlighted how Camila, like, there's the old Camila and then there's the new Camila, and then her final words, like, she referenced that and she said like how much confidence she gained by being in this game, and that was just like so emotional to watch because it was so cute seeing how much she actually did grow from this game and how much she learned about herself and what she's capable of. So very proud of Camila for that. She should be invited back for a future season.
Oh, if she's not in 50, I'm gonna riot. Like, I'm gonna riot.
Yeah.
I like, oh my gosh. I mean, I don't even know. That was just like so powerful. And I just love like the fact that, like, I mean, I feel like we saw her gain confidence in herself like in real time. And the moment when, like, right before she was leaving that tribal, when she was like, the reason I was even sitting there is because I'm a threat to somebody. And it's like, as the audience, we know that. Like, we could see that, like, yeah, you are a threat. But it's like, she just realized that. And she's just, like, kind of coming into that, like, she is her. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It, like, I don't know. That was just, like, cool because, I don't know. I just really like Camila after this episode. Like,
she's gotta come back.
She's so cool.
She's gotta come back.
She has to come back.
But, okay, well now I guess we're down to the final tribal council.
Yeah.
So, the first person that talks is Seti. Lovely little Cedric. Valid question. Honestly, everyone asked pretty good questions. Stuff that stuck out to me, though. When Chrissy just immediately, like, wanted to stir the pot with, like, Joe and Eva, she was like, well, guys, it's time. Like, you gotta go against each other. Like, and then Joe and Eva were like, why? We don't have to do that. I'm like, yeah. Kind of should have done that. But
yeah, maybe that would be a good idea.
Maybe Chrissy was right.
I know, and right, and yeah, I mean, I feel like Joe just fumbled hardcore because I think that it could have been a 3-way fight more than it was, and I feel like he just either didn't feel the need to explain his game, or just didn't know how, or maybe just didn't have the confidence in that moment to. Because I feel like he could have made a valid argument for his game. And, like, looking back at this season, Joe had so much power. We saw actively as his alliance, like, wouldn't want to do anything unless it had Joe's stamp of approval. And everybody kind of knew him as, like, this godfather kind of figure, but then was too scared to take him out.
Right.
And so I feel like if he had voiced some of those points, that he had an insane amount of control over this season and was a challenge beast, I feel like he would have gotten more votes than he did.
Yep. And dude, yeah, literally, not only did he, like, basically lead the votes every week, like, people listened to what he said, but if he would have won that final challenge, he would have been one of, what, 6 or 7 people in all 48 seasons of Survivor to win that many challenges. Like, come on. He could have used that as leverage, you know, but all he really said was, I just played an honest and loyal game. I mean, and then there was literally, I mean, Star's question was, what were the betrayals, blindsides, whatever. I don't remember exactly what Joe said, but I remember he didn't say much. He didn't say anything. He was just an honest and loyal game. Oh, I think I remember what happened. They brought up, like, Shaheen. They brought up the whole situation with Shaheen. And then Camila goes, I got you. Like, to Kyle, she goes, I got you. And she chimes in. She almost didn't get a word out, but she chimes in. She goes, well, actually, I would like to hear Kyle's point of view of the Shaheen vote.
Dude,
she cooked with that.
That was so good. She did. And I was, like, sitting there so anxious for Kyle, like, his, whatever he's gonna say, and, like, I was like, how's he gonna bring up the Camilla thing? Like, when's he gonna say it? Like, whatever. And when he wasn't bringing it up, I was like, you gotta, like, are you not gonna mention this, like, at all? And that was stressing me out so bad, so I'm so glad she, like, teed him up for that. It was just like,
Yeah.
And I feel like it was the exact right timing. He said everything perfectly to where everybody was still like,
Mhm.
couldn't believe, like, wait, you two have been working together?
Yeah.
But it wasn't too early where everybody forgot it by the end of the conversation, or by the end of all the questions, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That was just very well done.
Yeah. And you could see like when Joe and Eva found out what really transpired, they're like I feel like they knew like at that
Yeah.
point, because that was their one thing where they're like, hey, we turned on our number one alliance
Yeah.
member. No, you didn't. That was actually Kyle's
It's like,
doing.
yeah, you
Like that was such
yeah,
a
and you did it like unneeded.
yeah, it was literally laid out perfectly.
Essentially.
Dude, with if Kyle didn't have Camila on his side, it would have been a lot harder for him to like try to convince the
Mhm.
jury. And she just lined
Agreed.
it up so
Yeah.
perfectly. Like they're the perfect duo, dude. They're the
Yeah.
perfect. And I'm so
They
glad.
really are.
I'm so glad that she didn't like turn on him last minute or was like salty that like she didn't make it to final 3 and not him. Cause
Yeah.
dude, who was it? What season was that? When Charlie
Charlie and
who was it that didn't vote for him?
I don't even care. I don't
Was
even care about her name. I don't even. She did Charlie
Yeah.
so dirty in that season.
Yeah, I don't even wait. Why do I feel like it was? Well, actually, I don't know. But either way, yeah. Thank goodness it wasn't a Charlie situation, because I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
I would have been pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, one more thing I wanted to say about like that whole moment Kyle and Camilla had was when Kyle was like explaining the Shaheen like side of things where he's like, I didn't know if Shaheen was actually want to make that move or if he was just trying to catch me in a trap. And then Shaheen was like pointing at him or whatever. I was like, I don't know, I just love the respect they have like for each other's like players.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, Kyle blindsided you, but he's still like sitting there like commending him on making like this move. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was just such a good cast. Like everybody kind of gets it,
Yeah.
and it wasn't. I don't think there weren't any bitter jury members, were there?
No, I mean not really. David, psych, he was acting. He
David.
was acting.
Yeah. Dude, that was hilarious. I was knock knock.
Dude, it was
Who's
so
there?
funny.
Not me. That was so good.
Dude, and why did he? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead, but in the after show when Jeff like addressed David and he was like, dude, I don't know what you were doing. I was like, you got voted out, like get over it. Like that's what Jeff said to David. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I got y'all.
Right.
I got y'all so good.
Yeah, that was so good.
That was funny, dude. So shout out David for he acted through
Yeah.
several tribal councils. And then all of a sudden, when it's
Yeah.
his time to speak, he says, just kidding, guys. I'm not mad.
Yeah, and he was so happy. Then he just had a smile on his face the rest of the
Yeah.
time. Like, okay, David.
Oh, that was so
Okay.
funny. Did he even ask a question? I don't even remember what his question was. 'Cause that was funny.
Oh, something about physical challenges. He was like, I came in here to play the challenges and something. Because then Joe talked about how he's like older
Oh,
and
yeah.
had like recent surgeries and whatever and was still able to
Oh,
do
yeah.
well.
Yeah, I do remember that. It was like his ACL or something. But yeah, so that David thing's happened, and then Kyle hits the kind of good looking line. I was laughing
Yeah.
at that.
Or he's like, I know I'm caked up.
Yeah, yeah. Dude. I know I'm
I
caked
know
up.
I'm caked up.
I know I'm caked up, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why he won.
Yeah.
Because he's caked up. You gotta be
That's the
caked
cheat
up
code.
to win Survivor.
That's the cheat code.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I guess final things before they revealed the votes. I don't have anything else, I guess.
Me neither. I mean, I think Eva was so well spoken, and especially her last little like her final little thing she got to say before they voted
Mhm.
was so well put that it had me nervous for Kyle. I was like, dang. Cuz I mean, she did make a great point, like we have seen players like Kyle win before. We have seen players like Joe win before.
Mhm.
But she's a very unique situation that we haven't seen a winner have or the kind of story she has. And so she was like, let me represent it.
Yeah.
Like, let me represent this season. That was like so well spoken.
Yeah, it was very well.
I was like shook. I was like, dang, is that gonna sway people?
Yeah, like she did really well in speaking for sure. I just think that sometimes her answers were repetitive to like different questions.
Yeah.
Or like she had the same reasoning for every question, you know? So I think that's what kind of fell
Yeah.
through. I feel like she could have highlighted a little bit more on like how many advantages she got, like, and then when she said like,
Oh,
oh,
for
I
sure.
had this and I didn't even have to play it, you know, a lot of people on the jury were like, wow, hey, that's
Yeah.
that's a cool move. But yeah, she
Yeah.
did awesome. And either way, she is representing this season. Even if she didn't win on
Mhm.
social media, I mean, she's huge. And yeah,
Yeah.
she's like the first publicly autistic player, and she is
Mhm.
making a movement out of that. So, props to her. Even though she didn't win, she is making the most of it, and she's got a lot ahead for
Right.
her. She's getting a PhD. She's just got a lot ahead of her. So, I think she's in a good
Yeah.
place. I also think she's really grateful for how the votes did turn out. The fact that all 3 people got votes, at least 1 vote,
I
that
know.
doesn't happen.
Wow.
That doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
So we see Cedric voted for Joe. He said something about Joe. I don't remember what it was, but he was like, I don't know. I think it was about his age, and he resonated with Joe's story about his kids and like family and stuff like that, and that's why Cedric ultimately voted for Joe.
Mhm.
And then we see Star and Mary voted for Eva. They just said because she played a good game. That's what Mary said.
True
And
to
then
herself.
Star was she didn't know who she was going to vote for, but she said yesterday during Fire, or not yesterday, but like the day before
Yeah.
during Fire is what convinced her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so which is surprising that Star would vote for Eva, honestly. Like, I didn't expect that.
I know.
Because especially
I
in the
didn't
beginning
either.
of the game, like, they literally didn't even speak to each other. And then Star gives her a
Right.
freaking idol. And then Star gets out.
Yeah.
But then she still votes for Eva. So
Yeah.
Star
Very
is Star.
interesting.
So
Yeah.
obviously that leaves everyone else. Shaheen, Mitch, Chrissy, David, and Camila vote for Kyle. And obviously
Yeah.
Kyle wins.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Right. And I didn't even like really factor in until seeing, I guess once we were in the after show, that like they had like half of the jury was from their original tribe.
Mhm.
Like that's very beneficial. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that was 4 votes.
Yeah.
4 votes right there out of 8.
Mhm.
Like that's crazy.
And that's why it was good how they like highlighted that throughout the episode too. Like Camille and Kyle were aware of that. They're like, if we're both there, they're gonna split the votes on us because it's like our tribe,
right.
and that's just not.
Yeah.
You can't let that happen. So good for them, dude. I just can't believe it's just so funny, like how much of an edit Loggy got. Like such a huge focus on the Purple Tribe, such a huge focus
Yeah.
on Joe and Eva, which I mean, yeah, they made it to final 3, so it makes sense. But Kyle really didn't have his shining moments until later on in the game.
That was crazy.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was crazy. And then we obviously they hit the line where literally everyone was like, if Camila was there, we would have voted for her. We would have voted for her.
Bro.
Oof. I would have been so
Wild.
upset if I was Camila. I would have been so upset.
I know.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't know. If you end up like rewatching part of it, I mean, something shut off in Joe
Yeah.
before even the after show.
Mhm.
Like I don't know. So that made me sad where it was like he just didn't seem like the way he's been the rest of the time.
Yeah. If I'm gonna be honest, like actually no, that's not true. But sometimes I mean we've seen throughout the season, like as soon as his name gets thrown out there, he kind of spirals and he's like, me? Like, why would someone vote for me? Like almost like it's like a hurt like a
Right.
hit to his ego. And maybe
Yeah.
like because he got one single vote, he was a little salty about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean,
that could've been it.
also, it's been 26 days, dude. They've been living on an island. He lost a ton of weight,
Yeah.
like he looked skinny by the final episode. But when he did speak during the after show, it obviously made Eva emotional. Just hearing how he said a lot of nice things. He said he wouldn't, change his experience for the world. He's just glad that he had the chance to show the world who he is by taking care of Eva, or more so supporting her throughout the game. So I think he's very proud of the game he played. Maybe it just kind of hurt at the end that maybe there are some things that he could have done different that would have changed the final tribal, but ultimately he's grateful for everything he got to experience with Eva, and of course we still see online now that they have an awesome bond together. This whole cast,
Right.
really. This whole cast is like extremely close to
Mhm.
each other. So it is great to see. But shoot, I mean, I don't have that much from the after show specifically. Literally my last notes were Jeff calling out David on being so serious, which we already talked about. And then
Right, yeah.
my last note was, why did David prank us all though?
I don't know. I was thinking the same thing.
Like, I'm just imagining him, like, after he got voted
that
out in, like, Ponderosa, like, in his room alone, like, what could I do? Like, that would just be so funny.
yeah.
And that's what he came up
Like,
with.
oh my gosh.
What-
Oh wait, are we gonna talk about the fact that the teaser spoiled the episode?
That's what. Okay, when you texted me that, I didn't watch it.
Okay. Well, I'm just confused by the teaser they released before, because in the teaser we see Camilla with the necklace and Mitch on the jury, and one of the challenge, not the, I don't think you see the final 4 challenge, but you see the final 5 challenge
Dang.
and like who's winning, which is a lot of things to spoil.
Yeah, for real. Because after you texted me that, I was like, wait, maybe I just shouldn't watch it because then it'll be spoiled.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch it.
Right, because then I knew going into the episode, I was like, I know Mitch is going to be on the jury.
Right.
Like, and he's behind Shaheen, so it's like, I know it's not like he's getting out 4th place, he's
Yeah.
getting out 5th place. And so that kind of took away the shock of it, I guess.
Dang.
That was an interesting choice on Survivor's part to give away that much information.
Yeah, really. It's like, it's not like those things go unnoticed when you're like making that video. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe they just.
Yeah, like the full-on immunity necklace too.
Yeah, like,
what?
That's kind of crazy. But shoot, I guess that's the end of
Dang.
season 48 of Survivor.
Wow.
That's crazy. And then we saw a little teaser, 49. Honestly, there was nothing that really stuck out to me from that.
Yeah,
I
I agree.
know.
I'm gonna miss this cast though.
I agree.
Like, I already missed them, and
That's what, like,
it's just ended.
like when I was watching the season 49 trailer, I was like, wait, I don't like hearing other voices other than this cast.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
I know that's what I was thinking. I was like prejudging them. Definitely, I was like, I don't even like them as much.
Yeah, I don't even.
They're
yeah,
not
this
even
cast
as good of a
sucks.
cast. So yeah.
But yeah, and then we get to see the reveal of season 50. We get to see the cast of season 50 on May 28th. If you didn't know, now you know. On CBS Mornings? Is that what it's called? I don't even know. But
Yeah.
we'll see it revealed in about a week. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully it's a good cast. Hopefully we see, I don't know, Shaheen?
Shaheen,
That would go crazy.
Camilla.
Camila and Shaheen? That would be sick.
I would love that.
Yeah, but this is kind of sad, guys. I mean, this is our final podcast episode about Survivor until obviously the next season. If you guys are kind of wondering what we'll be talking about every Friday on our podcast episodes, we're going to dive a little bit more into a little more behind the scenes of Beast Games. We're going to start talking a little more about us, a little more about our lives, guys. So hopefully you guys like us. Hopefully you guys want to continue listening. We also come out with vlogs every Monday, so look out for that. Please also subscribe to our channel.
Please.
Please.
Please, guys.
We are the slowest growing YouTube channel
Ever.
ever. Unless you subscribe right now, so I'll give you time to subscribe right now.
Yes.
Subscribe. But yeah, that's it from us. If you haven't heard, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like this video.
Yeah.
And make sure to comment down below, what do you want to hear us talk about? Is there new reality shows that you want us to cover? Is there just like random pop culture stuff that you want us to talk about? Let us know in the comments. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining us for this season of Survivor. And we will see you guys on Monday. Bye.
Bye.